Hey everyone, welcome to my Anno 2205 tutorial. First things first, there's a seizure warning at the beginning of this game, which is very concerning. I guess that there's a lot of flashing lights and bright colors in this game with the beautiful scenery, so those are seizures. Be careful, I suppose. Um, of course, at the beginning of every Anno game, you have a beautiful introduction. Look at this, it's incredible. But we're just going to skip it. So, you'll see that I have a corporation called Tim Inc. already created here. I'm going to start again. So we'll manage corporations.
Do you need some information?
I actually have 3 organizations here. 2 of them are on hard. Tim Inc. is on hard. We're going to can that one because we're going to start all over again. I have this one, which is a lunar colony, but it's in medium mode. So you'll see, if you look at the financials, I guess, you'll see that it's losing 116,000 a minute in revenue. So that's very bad. Because it's on medium difficulty, I actually get perpetual bailouts from the parent organization. So, it's not really that fun. It's not satisfying. So I started a new game. And this is a healthier organization. It's obviously not quite as far as along, but very healthy financially, and I'm taking the road slowly on that. So, we'll create a new org. And
I'm glad you accepted my invitation.
We'll skip everything she has to say.
Thank you.
And this
Officially,
video.
only megacorporations are allowed in the program, but I personally took a stand for you. You just have to sign in with your corporation name.
So, we'll call this one Tim Inc. like we called the previous organization.
Thanks, but I need to see your corporate logo as well.
And we'll select a logo
for
that I like.
identification purposes.
I like this logo, so I'm going to pick it. I really like this one. This one's cool. I like the I think that's a Sokov one. Also like this one. It's a bit, well, I shouldn't say it's scary. It's really weird. Anno actually has a really odd relationship with nuclear technologies. Although there is fusion in the game. In the other games, there is always nuclear disasters, and nuclear is actually a pretty safe technology these days. Also, too, if you consider thorium sources, but that's a whole other thing. So, yeah, I'm not gonna pick that logo. I'll pick this logo. But it is disappointing they don't have more kind of nuclear technologies in the future, especially considering that humans have about 30,000 years of nuclear fuel, and that's not even including recycling old sources. Anyway, enough about that. We'll
My
confirm the
superiors
game.
at the Global Union had reservations about you.
So there's
Thought
3
I'd
different
convince them.
maps.
They even decided to allocate you
wait till
high-grade
she's
territory
done.
for new corporate headquarters. Choose a sector.
So we have 3 different sectors. Walbrook Basin, which is it's one of my favorites, and that's just because I like how the dams look, to be honest, and I like that they produce power. It's kind of in the middle as far as acreage goes. It has the most amount of mountain building sites, which really helps out with industry, but it has the least amount of coastal building sites. The project for energy kind of makes up for those coastal building sites, though, because you don't have to, you can rely on the dams for a lot of your energy. You don't have to use the tidal force generators that are on the coastal building sites. Cape Amber is also interesting. Least amount of land, least amount of mountain buildings, well, second least amount of mountain building sites, the most coastal building sites, and a project for rare materials. So a really kind of unique sector here. You don't have to actually, you can actually produce your own graphene, which is really cool. So I do actually recommend this one. I recommend all of them. They're all pretty cool. Viridian Coves, not my jam, although it allows you to kind of engage in an optimal strategy,
It's
and
just
that
paperwork,
is
really. Nothing to ponder over long.
build a ton of residential buildings to derive tax revenue from, which to me has always been the best way to play Anno. That is lean production, just get taxes, just get the money from all your workers. And a project for ornamental buildings, which is, who cares? Like, look at this. What is that? It's Mr. Clean with crystal ball. I always tell people I don't have a crystal ball, I have a crystal brain. This guy's a crystal ball, though. Alright, so let's pick Walbrook Basin, not Cape Ambar or Viridian Coves. Look how mountainous that is there. It's only got 13 mountain. Anyway.
Almost there. We just have to negotiate the terms of your contract with Global Union. Funding conditions and the like.
So, here's the rub. We have standard and advanced. You get bailouts for each of them. In case of bankruptcy, you receive a bailout. In case of bankruptcy, you receive a bailout. That sucks. That's so lame. We're doing this. This is what we're learning on today. We're going to play a very conservative game. We're going to play a very careful game, but also make the map look nice. We're not just going to create a functional disaster, if you will. One of my goals in this walkthrough is to make the map look good, play a nice, clean game, just have some no bankruptcy. Because if we do, it's over, and this whole video series will end pretty promptly. All right, so let's launch the game. So I'm just going to kind of skip there's an introductory video, but there's a cool flyby, so I'm going to go through that flyby real quick.
You are now entering phase.
So one thing that's really cool about this Anno game is you'll find that the loading screens between worlds is very quick. It's absolutely amazing, and I don't even have the best system.
Wide meadows and towering mountains. And soon you will add an impressive skyline to the picture. But stay attentive. I was informed a Big Five company has been monitoring the ruined dam for quite some time now. This could turn out beneficial for you at some point, but your prime objective is to raise a spaceport here.
Alrighty then. So, the first things
spaceport
first.
Building site off the coast is still unstaffed.
We need to achieve
But
these
as soon as you've built
objectives.
the necessary housing, your construction team will be moving in.
So the first thing I like to do is visit my buddy Nick. Who's Nick, you ask? He's not at the spaceport. He's here. So, do I have to bring a ship here to Nick to pick up the resources? No, that is incorrect.
I know it's a lot of things.
What is
to
this,
keep
first
in
of all?
mind,
I'm sorry, I need
but
to see what
Adam
this is.
compiled you a database where you can
Oh, it's
access
some
all the
kind of
information you need.
Weather shielding. Anyway, so
Well,
Nick, we
if
can
it
buy
isn't
stuff
you,
off.
my friend, have a very good
So
eye.
I'm gonna buy stuff off Nick. Just look at Nick. How could you not trust him? Look at that haircut. Look at that jacket. His glasses. Good looking
I
guy.
tell you,
Bet you he goes to
nothing
the clubs a
beats
lot.
sealing a deal.
Wonder what kind of drugs they have in Anno. Anyway, we're gonna build. I'm gonna build a nice, clean city. A city that Nick won't go into. It's too clean. So I'm just gonna start with large columns of houses, and I just kind of like to do 2 by 2s like
Someone
that.
call for some workers.
So worker
New
Steve,
blueprint
this is
ready
the
for
pleb of the game.
implementation.
Steve's a pleb.
Can't really complain.
Again, not a bad-looking
but I'm not
guy.
jumping for joy either.
You know? Kind of looks like, who does he look? He looks like that guy from
New
GoldenEye.
blueprints
You know the
ready
guy who
for
dies in all the
implementation.
movies? He's in Game of Thrones. Kind of looks like him. A bit younger. A bit more spry. Okay, so we're going to build some production facilities. And if any of you guys have already started playing Anno, you're probably like, what
Great.
the hell is he
Building
doing?
material shortages shouldn't be an
This is
issue anymore.
ridiculous how he's playing right now. And
Your
it
construction
is.
crew is one of the first ready. Keep up the pace. Your competitors
But
will try to
we'll,
catch up.
we'll tear down later to come
For
up
the
with
next
a more
construction
efficient
stage,
setup.
you'll need qualified ground staff to operate the spaceport. Make sure to adhere to union standards while providing the required infrastructure.
So right now I'm not playing a very
Hey,
conservative
come
game.
on in. Always a pleasure,
I'm
my
just
friend.
building up stuff quickly. I'm putting it down.
Attention. Under provision of specific consumer
But that's okay.
goods
I'm
detected.
rushing this really quick. We're just getting it out of the way. And I'm building it relatively neat, I think I am anyway. So, out like that, out in like that, and across.
You need this desalination plant.
Perfect.
These days, it's the only way to come by drinkable water.
So we'll build some turbines. Wind power is always good, I guess. I wonder how they came up
Your
with the
industry
storage
suffers
problem.
from a shortage of
It's
workforce.
very reliable.
This
in
impairs
game.
productivity.
So we have a shortage of
Now,
workforce.
let's talk about the next few steps.
And a shortage of labor as well. So our primary goal now is to get human
Business
HR.
success
We
is
need human
multiplying.
resources. So to do that, we're just going to keep building houses. All their needs are going to be met though, and I've already come out with a kind of a layout for this map already, so I put them out pretty quick. And actually, I'll just do a straight road like that. And fork it out all the way. So what I did was actually kind of was a bit silly of me. Went a bit gung-ho on everything. We need more workers, that's the bottom line. And the limiting factor is resin.
Welcome aboard. You, my friend.
So what I probably should have done first was lay down the electricity. But anyway, let me just kind of describe things a little bit here. So in Anno 2205, we have
Business friendships are the truest friendships.
we have three
Wouldn't
kind
you
of
agree,
things we
my
have to
friend?
constantly monitor. So we have labor pool or human resources. We have energy, and we have amount of trucks. I just like to say it's amount of trucks to keep it easy.
Business friendships
With lack of
are
energy,
the truest friendships.
buildings will lose production.
Wouldn't you
This is only operating at 57% because it doesn't have enough power. And this is only operating at 57% because we don't have enough people. So it's really important that you have enough people to run your power plants and that you have enough power to run your production buildings and vice versa. So, how do you get more
Your
people?
facilities are
Simple.
consuming more energy than you are providing.
Build them houses.
This reduces
provide
their
them needs.
productivity.
In addition to that, we just need to make sure that they have. We're building enough houses here because the name of the game in this is to give people, well, not to give people enough room, but give us as much tax revenue as possible. As you can see, we're hemorrhaging money right now at a pretty high rate, and we have a massive HR shortage. So, what we need is this resin, and we
Well,
need as much of
always
it
a
as we
pleasure,
can
my
get.
friend.
So I'm going to get us to a point where we're not burning through cash so substantially. We'll provide some needs.
A broad range of information services. This will enable your employees to develop their interests as well as their skills. Very good. We should standardize the process.
Perfect. So we've dealt with the human resources problem, and now we will have to deal with different types of problems.
My humble four walls.
Very good. We should standardize the process.
Okay. So,
Got some work for me.
we've met all three conditions for this population class, and they can rise on up to the next level. Let's fill out this area, cap it off with a road,
Welcome aboard. Always a
Talk to
pleasure,
Nick.
my friend.
get this sorted out, and
Trying to keep
Quickly
pace
do
with
that.
us is futile. Leishing electricity moves at the speed of light.
Good. We should keep this procedure in mind in future.
okay. So, now you can see how we ran into a bit of a rush there where we were trying to get human resources pumped in to bolster power and vice versa to keep production levels at where we wanted them to be. So you can see that how critical that is. Extremely, extremely, extremely important. So I'm gonna now just build two kind of columns down the middle here. Just 'cause I want to. Okay. So, it's time to open up ascension rights for your population. So ascension rights is essentially allowing people to go to a different class of people where you have higher population density, more buildings available, etc., etc. So you'll see these arrows on here. There's a couple ways you can do this. You can select them manually.
Okay, let's set things in motion.
New blue.
Remarkable the
Now
program.
we've opened up operators. There's also a few other options here. So you can do, you can click on them like this, and they'll randomly kind of pop up. Or you can automate it, and they'll
Corporation value
automatically
has
go
risen.
up. I always recommend to do it like this. And actually, part of the reason why I recommend it is it's kind of satisfying. I really like it. I know it sounds a bit lame, but if you don't want to hear lame stuff, you don't want to be on this
Welcome
channel.
aboard, you, my friend.
So,
have a very good eye.
again, we just need more bioresin. Do some updates here. Advance them up.
New blueprints ready for implementation.
So the idea is we essentially just want this population. We want this whole, all these clusters here to be upgraded. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with this space. I know this space is going to be our primary production area for this island. This is our mini island before we move on to the next island, which is this one here. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to move
Consumer
over to this. When I move over to this
show unfulfilled
island, I'm
demand
going to
for
also
specific
produce
commodities.
this dam. So we're going to build this dam up, and we're also going to look at quests. So just so you know, like, you don't actually transport goods. It's all globally distributed through your logistics network automatically. So there's no trading between your islands. There's no trading me ships with Nick
You
over
do
here.
what you have
I
to
can just
get
buy
by.
stuff from him and he delivers it right to my warehouse. It's all pretty automated. So a bit weird. There's also ships that'll be docked here that you can do quests on. There's none right now. Right here's Lei Shang.
Yes, technically this is an unannounced intrusion into your territory. But before you report me, once Lei Shang
Okay.
pursued the construction of
Tang.
a hydroelectric power station here. The stations were based on designs Lei Shang took over from its bankrupt rival, Global Trust. If we would join forces,
So
we
anyway,
could-
we'll work with former stripper over here, May, to build these dams and get energy. So the first dam you build, you get 1,000 energy. So that dam produces 1,000 energy. This one does 2,000, and this one does 3,000. So a total of 6,000 energy. Quite a bit of energy. That's as much as about 1.5 of the fusion reactors later on in the game, which is pretty substantial. So what we'll do now is we'll just continue to update the population. So you'll see we have access to
Construction
more
of
and
new
more blueprints.
building types possible.
our
Welcome
buddy
to
Nick.
No One Beats Nick's Deals.
Buy some stuff from him. Upgrade. Okay. So, we've done quite a bit of upgrading, so you can probably see that we're running out of certain needs for the population. Just gonna make sure those are fulfilled. And you'll notice a new need has arisen, and that's for vitamin drinks. So, first things first, we need to make sure we have enough water. And also, we're running low on energy. So we're going to build this tidal force generator here. But before we build that, we actually need to produce this population class's production building. And those are constructobots. So these are critical. So in order to build constructobots, we need 2 raw materials. So we need, I think it's cobalt and nanoceramics.
Energy scarcity.
It's a simple link up. So we have an energy scarcity. So that's going to kind of put a dampener on things, which is okay. So we'll build this wind plant. That'll bring us up to par. There we go. So those are just some messy plop down wind farms for now. And we'll build a logistics center. Right.
Logistics.
Good. You've gathered the components needed for the elevator. Only the elevator cable requires special materials you can't produce, but I arranged for a delivery.
So now we're we're producing whatever we need for this elevator, and we have energy. The energy's a bit sporadic right now. It's not very spread out, very nice. So we're gonna produce those bots.
Without
but-
people like me, nothing would ever get done around here.
So we've produced a few bots here, and I'm actually going to use that to up our energy production. Now this is going to have a bit of a downward force on revenue, but that's okay, because what I'll do is I can actually just shut the building down, so that takes about 500 revenue. We don't need it right now, so I'm just going to shut her down, and that actually zeroes everything, including the
Your
workforce.
technicians are ready. Start the elevator construction once all other requirements are met.
So now we can
My
construct the
associate, John Rafferty,
elevator,
is already
and
heading here with the
Rafferty's about
special
to deliver
material
some
deliveries.
resources, and he's going to run into a bit of problems. So we'll see what happens as soon as we can start constructing.
It's not like
that.
working for a company. It's like...
Okay. So I do want to build more houses, and I do want to move this. So I'm going to move this. Move it here, so it's a bit less efficient. Okay, it still runs pretty good. And we're going to build some bigger houses, because now we have Constructobots to do that.
New blueprints ready for implementation.
What can I say? It's just a maid.
Congratulations on your first taste of success.
So our information services
Attention.
are running quite low.
Under provision of specific consumer goods detected.
So we got to make sure we build more information services. And the shortage is, it's a slight shortage. To build another one of these to cost 250, I don't know if it's worth it. So we're running low on some consumer goods. It's food. And of course vitamins and these injectors. So we're running low essentially on most consumables, which is bad. And a lot of people right now are probably shaking their head on how I'm building these farms, but we'll address it a bit later on. Right now we have an energy shortage, so blah blah blah. So I'm gonna just run this power plant and bring it online. And we have pretty high revenue, so I'm not too worried about going into a deficit right now. And there. Perfect. So money, the cost per minute rather, is going down. So that's good to go. Next, we'll do we're gonna do a vitamin production chain here. So vitamins. So again, I'm probably gonna get a little rigmarole on Twitter over there.
Welcome. Hope everything's all right.
I had that lined up perfectly, and then Pleb interrupted me. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Okay. I think. I hope that's enough. I don't know if that's enough room to build the extensions on there. That's the good thing
I
about
hope this
game,
helps
though.
you. A clever move, seeing to your staff's good health. Benefits like that make you a more attractive employer.
Okay, so let's see where we're deficient. We're deficient in all these areas. We don't have enough supply chain pumping in. So what we need is those 18 bots.
I just
25
love
bots.
the ocean.
So we can continue with the construction of the space elevator, and we can get the required modules that we need. Or rather, expansions on these buildings. And you'll see what I mean in 1 second.
Consumer
So
analyses
I'm going to
show
click on
unfulfilled
this, and
demand
what's going to
for
happen
specific
is
commodities.
Mr. Rafferty is going to send us a shipment to me. I think he might run into a bit of trouble.
Yeah, Rafferty here. Miss Bowman assigned me to ensure the transport safety. Approaching your sector, over. Code Red. We're under attack. Code Red. Damn it. The cargo. Protect the ship.
People of Earth,
They attacked us out of nowhere, sunk all my ships, and took over the cargo. Now they're blockading the whole sector. No transports are gonna make it through anymore.
Oh, Jesus.
All right. No.
Okay, so what we need to do is go save John's ass. So before we go do that, kind of a thing I like to make sure I ensure before I leave a game is I don't, especially in this difficulty, I don't like leaving a game with negative income. And that's because you can get in a real hairy situation. You're essentially just burning money while you're gone. And this game is real time,
Preparations for spaceport upgrade
it will run like
completed.
that. I'm just going to keep building some houses until we get a positive income balance, and then we're going to move over and work with John there to see
Welcome. Hope.
what we can do. Work with John, making it sound like it's real life. Okay, so we'll upgrade these, which is great. So downward force on that deficit, which is good. So you'll notice two resources appeared here. We have
Let's see
graphene
how many ships
and
do in the
iridium.
field.
So graphene actually adds extensions onto these buildings, and these extensions are far more efficient than building other buildings. So this actually has a 180% increase in productivity, but it only has 19% of the maintenance costs, or 90% increase in the maintenance cost, which is amazing. It's just a bit expensive. The same goes for these biopolymers and sunflower farms. So also literally every other kind of production factory. So this was what I was worried about here, is
Good.
this.
We should keep this procedure in mind in future.
So I'm going to move these, and now we have positive income, so that's a good sign. I'm going to move these vitamin plants just over here, and that's just because I can extend it. I can demo this road so we can up our production of Constructobots later. So we have a positive balance, but I think we can do slightly better before we go to help John there. He'll be fine. What we'll do is we'll just wrap a road around there, make it look nice there. And yeah, we'll maybe do a parking facility behind there later or something. Again, I haven't added a lot of the beautification to this map yet, but just note too, when you go into the Ascension Rights sector,
Construction
there's
options
two different types of
expanded.
houses. So there's your larger houses, which
It's
are
not
these
like
ones.
working for a company.
I
It's
think
like
they're a bit-
helping a mate.
Yeah, so these ones are more, I think, densely populated. We don't have any data on these ones, so like I don't know if these ones are actually better to build or not. I like them because the road access, but if I find out later that these ones are just slightly more efficient, I will just always build them. These ones are
On
good,
the
of
whole,
course, for kind of filling smaller areas too, and they have their use, but maybe not in this row structure that I've put them in. So we got an okay balance. I'm good with that. Let's go help John, and we'll get some really good resources in the process. So, as you can see, this is our strategic map here. We are low on vitamins, and we are not low on monuments, but we can build a monument. We also need rejuvenators as well. That's an expensive supply chain, and we'll actually buy them from the space station. So we'll compare the cost of that supply chain with actually what's offered on the space station. But first, let's go help John. So,
Bunch of rats laying hand on our ships. Give 'em hell.
so this is essentially our combat. So you can do standard, expert, or standard, advanced, expert. This is really hard. So is this. It's really difficult. Maybe I'm just not good at this, but I like to just do a standard game. So there's kind of two ways you can approach these missions. You can just accomplish the primary objective and get it over with, but if you stay in the mission and you essentially do all the objectives in the mission, there's actually quite a bit of benefit to it. So thanks for listening to this Uplay. In the next Uplay, we'll go and help John out, and we'll do a detailed walkthrough on that mission. And in addition to that, we'll also look at fixing some of the supply problems. We'll look at the supply chain, just add up the numbers quickly kind of thing. And then hopefully after that video, then go into the Arctic region and then beyond to the moon after, of course, solving a number of what I foresee as supply chain problems. Thanks for watching again, and please subscribe.